Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Yvonne and this is STICKYMESS17. My channel is all about cleaning, information, inspiration and motivation and my life. So if you're interested, please like and subscribe, turn on those notification bells so that you're notified every Wednesday and Sunday at 10 a.m. when I upload no video. I'll show you some sugar packets now, and these sugar packets have memorable and inspirational quotes on them, and I find it's so fascinating to just sit down when you're at a coffee shop or a restaurant and just have a read of them. So in today's video, we are going to KRAGGA KAMMA, and this is just a nature reserve. So there's a few animals here, and then our flight from Port Elizabeth to Johannesburg. We stayed at a place called Treetops, and I will tell you a little bit more later on in the video about the customer service there. KRAGGA KAMMA is a wonderful nature reserve. It's quite small, so the animals are quite close together, but there is a lot of space for them to roam. And we did obviously hire a car, and the hire car, I'm surprised the bottom of the car is still on it. It is not a very car-friendly area. This ostrich didn't want to move out of our way and decided to run in front of the car. So if you are driving around KRAGGA KAMMA, please be very careful and take the roads very, very carefully. They are very uneven. The cars seem to be very low. There was a 9-seater vehicle in front of us, and that was even dragging on the floor. I thought I damaged the car quite severely, to the point where it sounded like my underbelly of the car was going to rip off. So please, guys, be very careful. KRAGGA KAMMA, again, lovely, reasonable price. I think it was 300 Rand for us to get in, and you can do your own drive. You can take your time. I think we spent probably about 3 hours in the park on its own. We didn't go round to the monkey sanctuary, sort of. There's an area with other animals. In KRAGGA KAMMA, we didn't go down there because it was absolutely tipping down with rain by the time we'd finished driving around. So I'll let you watch some footage of the animals going around, and let me let you in on Treetops. Now, we were just looking for somewhere to spend the night because we didn't want to be traveling before we had to go for a reasonably early flight. When I say reasonably early, it was lunchtime. So we decided to just get an overnight stay in Port Elizabeth and then fly out the next day and not hire a car for that day, which turned out to be okay because I particularly got the accommodation from Treetops, which they said they did an airport shuttle, which was about 5 minutes from the airport. Not a problem. So the chap says on the booking site that you need to book your accommodation and your beforehand and your transport within 24 hours of your pickup. So no problem. I said, by the way, we're coming down to Port Elizabeth. Please pick us up from the airport. We'll be handing the car back at 10 a.m. Between messages backwards and forwards, I was then informed that I need to hand back the car, but my room will not be ready at 10 a.m. That was not the intention. It was to just come and get picked up, go to the room. We all had a place that had a pool so that we could spend the time in the pool for the rest of the afternoon. And when our bag was ready, and messages back and forth, we ended up just hiring a car for 24 hours and making our own way to the accommodation, because the messing about that I received with Treetops, I will be honest, was kind of awful. We did have load shedding as well, and as well as the power went off. This was separate to the load shedding whilst we were staying at this Treetops accommodation. We didn't have any power in the morning. Breakfast was cooked for us, which is fine. The room was nice and clean, and the accommodation itself was okay. But the customer service trying to get from the airport to the accommodation was not very appealing. And for that, I will be leaving a negative review. We made it very clear when we booked our accommodation in November last year that we would be requiring transport. So this is the room at Treetops. As you can see, it's very neat. It's clean. There's drinks available, a fridge available, and everything was really nice. The beds were okay, comfortable. The mosquitoes, oh my goodness, we had 2 mosquito repellent plugins in this room, and we were still chomped alive, and they were everywhere. So the mosquitoes in this property was a big issue. But as a whole, the room was lovely. The water was a good temperature. The pool was okay. It wasn't the cleanest, but the water was blue. And toiletries, as you can see, were provided. So the next day we headed off to Port Elizabeth Airport. It is a really, really small airport, and we are headed through security. And on the other side is like a big open area where you can sit and watch the aeroplanes. And when we arrived, there was not one single aeroplane in the entire airport. So our aeroplane is coming in now. This is SA AIRLINK, and I've never seen a plain black aircraft unless it's been in the military. So now there's a couple of other aeroplanes in here at the moment. This is obviously sped up through boarding.
Smoking and the use of e-cigarettes is strictly forbidden on all our flights. Tampering with, damaging, removing aeroplane emergency equipment or interfering with the duties of the flight crew is a criminal offence.
So the flight to Johannesburg is just over an hour from Port Elizabeth, and we were bouncing around like a ping pong ball. You will see the wings while we were in the air literally like flapping because the turbulence was horrendous. They did serve us a food and drink on the aircraft for free, which is a first for me because usually when we fly with Ryanair, EasyJet and Safair, we have never been given food on board. So I have got side views from both sides of the aircraft. This aircraft is so small it only holds 100 passengers. So the main image you can see is a time lapse, and the bottom right hand corner of the video is footage of from the other side of the plane as we're going through. It's not all on time lapse, but my flight is, and I had 12% battery by the time we landed because I left the battery packs in the overhead locker, and with us bouncing around like ping pong balls, I was not going to get my battery pack out to save my battery. The greatest feeling for me as a nervous flyer is the fact that we are down on the ground. I absolutely hate flying. It's not so much the flying, it's the turbulence and worrying what I'm going to, that we're actually going to get down. And with all the Boeing and stuff that's going on with aircraft at the moment, I am terrified. So we have arrived in Bryanston. We are staying back with Peter. Peter is a close friend of ours, and he also runs an Airbnb. He provides food, laundry services, and he also make sure that there's 3 beds within the room. We have also got a fridge. We have got the biggest suite on his property at the moment. Peter is a great host. I cannot commend him highly enough. He's kept in touch with us from our last stay when we stayed last year and this year. So I am definitely going to go back to Peter when we next go to South Africa. The pool here, he has made sure that it is nice and clean, and there is plenty of wardrobe space, which we didn't actually use because we just decided to live out the bags. We were with Peter for 10 days, and he arranged everything for us. We did have a water cut out. The council cut the water for, I think it was about 24 hours. I stand to be corrected. There was a problem with one of the pipes. The mains pipes. So he sorted us out and made sure that we had plenty of water. Now, this is a Johannesburg sunset. It is beautiful and red, and sadly it is due to all the pollution. So now we went to the wholesale market. One was a veg shop, which is in Randburg, and the other one is the meat shop, which is further, it's on the opposite side. So if you can work, roughly dollars are about 1.20 to $1. $120 to a pound. You can work out. So this huge piece of meat was approximately £5.95. Oh my gosh, meat is so cheap in South Africa, and look at the size of it. The food is absolutely gorgeous, and you can get huge amounts of meat here. I do question though how much wastage is produced by them doing all this meat in so much, because I know South Africans like their barbecues and their braais, but do they really go through that amount of meat, and how much is actually wasted? So as you can see, the size of the watermelons here are approximately £2.91. We can't even get a little punnet of fruit for that in this country, in the UK. You can see the size of the watermelon. My daughter is filming me here, and we were so tempted to just get that watermelon because it was 30 something degrees. I think it was about 32, 34 at this point. But as you can see, there is a huge variety of fruit and vegetables and stuff that we don't get in the UK. Now, my daughter absolutely loves watermelon, and look at that aubergine. I know some of you are really dirty, but behave. So we did get some watermelon, and we were eating that. And you can just see, even with the aubergine to the parsnips and things, it is absolutely huge. Now, a little bit of useless information for you. When I landed in the UK some years ago, the first thing I did is I went to go and get myself an apple from Sainsbury's, and I was absolutely gutted to see that the apple that I was eating was from South Africa. I just flown 11 and a half hours from South Africa to eat a South African apple in the UK. So now, when I was little, we went to a place called the Bunny Park, and that has since become I believe it's no longer, but in the same sort of area, this is in central Johannesburg, well, just on the outskirts of the actual CBD itself, is a place called Bunny Hop Haven, and you can feed the animals, roam with the animals, and it is absolutely beautiful. If you get a chance, highly recommended. Next, we headed over to Johannesburg Zoo. I don't think I've ever been to Johannesburg Zoo, not even on school trips or anything like that growing up. But we went to Johannesburg Zoo again. It's just on the outside of the CBD, and I was a bit anxious about going right into virtually the center of Johannesburg, because it is quite violent and quite dangerous, but you've got to be vigilant. You've got to have your doors locked and nothing visible in the vehicles, and watch your surrounding areas. But I can say Johannesburg Zoo was 70 Rand for us to get in, which was approximately £2.5, £3. The parking was about 10 Rand, and that was obviously in the ticket. But the size of the zoo, we decided to hire up a little mini buggy and make our trip around the park, which we did. And you can see the size of the fish, and there's a little aquarium, there's like a reptile park, and you can see bats and snakes, and oh my god, I like snakes though. So yeah, if you do get a chance to go to Johannesburg Zoo, highly recommend. Get in a golf cart. It's 200 Rand. You have it for an hour, and you have free reign of the park. Even with us driving around the park, I think an hour was definitely not enough. So we had a 4-seater buggy, 200 Rand for the hour, and of course we had to go and get some slush puppies as well, and we drank that while driving around the park to keep us cool, because it was a scorcher. But as you can see, Johannesburg Zoo is well maintained. It's well looked after. The animals are looked after. I was really impressed, and really saddened that I'd never been there before. In this next little clip, you can see the Johannesburg skyline just in the back there with the famous tower, and just on the side off camera is the big round tower that is actually hollow in the middle, and it has been a prison, and I think it's been renovated now to be flats. Now there is 2 baby what they call pygmy hippopotamuses in this little pond down below, and even a chipmunk, which we mistook for a squirrel. There is a monument here for the Anglo-Boer War, and there is a crow walking around, but the camera does not justify the size of this thing. There's rhinoceri, I don't know the pronunciation of the multiples of them. And then we headed off to Bryanston to go to the fishmonger. It's very similar to Ocean Basket, and I used to work in fishmonger many moons ago, and I must say that all I can remember is that this is not the same as Ocean Basket. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Turn on those notification bells so you're notified every Wednesday and Sunday at 10 a.m. when I upload a new video. Take care. See you. Bye.